There we go. Video is starting. Every time the video starts, I'm drinking something. So it's probably the first image that you guys get of me is me drinking something. Morning, morning, morning. Hopefully you guys saw the time and heard the time adjustment for today. Just for today. Tomorrow, you don't get rid of me that easy. Tomorrow, I'm going live again at noon to do a quick recap and to also talk about an offer that may be a fit for some of you to move forward with what you're learning here and also bring in that big partner, cortisol, insulin, and start working on that to prime and heal your body so that you can naturally lose the fluff, increase your energy, get more self-connected, more present, vitality, all those beautiful, lovely words, right? All those beautiful, lovely words. But today, day 3, we're going to be diving into the 5 strategies to help you regulate. So therefore, working on your stress response and put energy back onto you, allowing you to come down into that lovely parasympathetic state, that state of calm and regulated and connected, where our fat burning hormones are triggered, okay, where our metabolism is healthy and can utilize fats and carbohydrates for energy, that we don't hold things. Okay. Yesterday we had science class and we talked about cortisol, the big old cortisol, and how we need it to survive, but how it can really wreak havoc when it's not regulated, and how our body speaks to our mind, speaks to different systems, and how it regulates cortisol and how it triggers cortisol to come into play. We also talked about our sympathetic system, and in that state, when that system is triggered, that part of our nervous system, that is when our fat storing hormones are triggered. Cortisol. Cortisol is a fat storing hormone, right? And in our parasympathetic state, our state of calm and connected and zen, that is when our fat burning hormones are triggered. Makes sense, right? Give me a thumbs up and hello, good morning. I see you guys jumping on, but it makes sense, right? Because when we're in this fight or flight or freeze, everything shuts down to conserve energy to protect you, okay? Because this doesn't know the difference between you running to the next board meeting or you running from a saber-toothed tiger. Very primitive, and it just wants to keep you safe and alive and happy, okay? Give you comfort. Morning. Hi, Jackie. Okay, so today we're going to talk about strategies, and I can specifically talk about what I do as well as what I teach inside our 3M system and guide clients through this 3M system to find what will work in their life. Because again, we don't want this to be another thing on our to-do list. We want this to become a part of ourselves and our daily habits and routines. And will this change with the different seasons of life? Yes. Maybe some weeks we may not be able to move your body and journal and breathe and do some of the things that I'm about to mention. But you always have a pulse on it. That's the key. You always have a pulse on it and can bring it back and do small things, okay? I think we set ourselves up as busy go-getter women for failure a lot of the times. We say, this is the routine, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick with it, and we put ourselves here, then all of a sudden different areas of our life call on us, and then all of a sudden we get put back here, and then there's a guilt associated with that. We ignore it to deal with it, and then until we get a flame lit under our butt and we get motivated and go at it again. And again, simple and slow does not mean not effective. Okay, it's strategic. So just making sure we're not on and off, but just keeping small things. So 100%, right? Small actions. Jackie, in the 3M, we talk about your BAU, your business as usual. You get into that more in week 5, 6, as we get into there in our 3M. Okay, how we can make this sustainable in our life. Because we set ourselves up for failure. If we think this is going to be it, that's why New Year's resolutions fall off. What is it they say, 6 weeks after people make them? Okay, so let's not do that anymore. Okay. So hopefully, but again, we want to talk about the strategies to bring you into that regulated state throughout your day. Okay. It can't be just on that week vacation. It has to be in your day. It has to work in your life so it doesn't feel like work. Hi, morning, Norma. And it doesn't feel like work. And in that parasympathetic state, that's where all the magic happens. Okay. That's when, again, your body is not trying to stress out and figure things out. It's at ease. Other systems, your liver can do its job, naturally detox you, right? Digestion's working well. It can do its thing, all the benefits. Okay. So you guys can see, and you know how important it is that we get to that state at some point in our day. Excuse me. So hopefully you've had some amazing ahas in the last few days. I've heard from a few of you. And again, it can get your mind spinning a little bit because you're like, okay, I get it. I want to do this. Okay, I get it. I want to do that. I'm not really sure about this, but maybe I should focus on that. Breathe. Okay, breathe. Go through your notes, grab a highlighter, and just highlight a couple things here and there. Okay, here and there. And again, to get more clarity and to get a approach and a strategy specific to you, we can talk about that more tomorrow, what that can look like. Okay, because that takes a lot of the sort of spinning mind away. And Jackie and Norma that are on our 3M Accelerator clients, and Norma's moving on to doing our full 3M system. They'll talk about how it gives you such ease just having someone saying, nope, focus on this first, please. And then we'll go into this. Nope, let's focus on that now. How about we tweak this so we can get some results? That's working well. Keep with that. Okay, makes a difference. So biggest takeaways, make sure you guys write them down for yourself, okay? Excuse me. So some quick admin before we dive into today. I want to expand on the nutrition portion that we talked about yesterday, because I know we were talking about nutrients that will help lower cortisol and or help regulate, get you back into that calm, grounded state, okay, trigger your parasympathetic nervous system. And we talked about, the magnesium and calcium and things like the nutrients and minerals that can help with that. But Karen brought it to my attention. She's like, you didn't really talk about, for those of us that are in the collapse burnout, what can bring up the cortisol. Because remember, the goal is to bring you back up, to heal you back up so you become metabolically more reactive. Okay. So if you find yourself in that sort of fatigue, moving into collapse, burnout, here we're looking for nutrients that are rich in B vitamins. So like beans, bananas, oats, potatoes, avocados even, okay, as well as foods rich in vitamin C. Okay, what obviously is a lot of your citrus. Okay, spinach is also really rich in vitamin C and broccoli. And that will help stimulate the production of cortisol. Now, I put a big disclaimer around this because many of you that maybe be in the overstimulated state that want to bring your cortisol down are like, well, does that mean I should avoid those foods? No. Okay. Again, remember, your body is very good at doing this and trying to figure out its homeostasis. Okay. And you actually having nutrient dense whole foods is not going to throw your swing over to one side and cause this major disruption. It's going to pull what it needs out of it and utilize it for you. Okay. So please don't think, oh my gosh, I need to avoid avocados because it's going to raise my cortisol. It doesn't work that way. All right. So something, and then this is something that we dive into more during our onboarding strategy calls that we do when we start out your 3M journey. It's your hormone, your metabolic assessment, and your stress response assessment. Okay. And then that's where we dive into strategy, what works for you in your life. Again, tomorrow I'll be doing more of a Q&A recap, and we'll talk about that in bigger detail. Piece the things together for everyone, right? We already know that hormones are important and metabolic flexibility is important, and our stress response really dictates how healthy that is. Those response mechanisms are for us. But we need to have those in play to have a healthy metabolism and to lose the fluff, if that is a goal for you. Okay. Insulin and cortisol pull everybody with them. everybody with them. So if they're out of balance, then we need to definitely work on healing that. Okay, we're healing that. So grab your notebooks, everyone, and let's dive in. I'm gonna have my last sip. Hopefully I don't cough. I don't know why I'm coughing with my drink, but that's okay. Let's dive into it because today is all about action. I'm dying over here. Excuse me. What did it say to stop choking on my drink? It's just an electrolyte drink, but for some reason, it's totally causing me to cough. I'm going to try it again. I might have to go grab a glass of water. Oh, I do have water here. One sec. See if that helps. Sorry, guys. It's never a good idea to try to talk before you swallowed. Excuse me. It's never a good idea to try to talk before you swallow. Choking will occur. All right, but today, back at it. Okay, that feels better. Breathe. Thanks. I'm like, let's grab your notebooks because today is all about action. Okay, 5 strategies to help you regulate your stress response to bring you back down. Because again, we ideally want to have that happen 30 minutes to an hour or more a day. And please don't have that make your heart go in palpitations because you're like, where am I going to fit it in? We're going to talk about it. Okay. Number 1 in our strategies is based around really building up your stress accommodation and resilience. Please drop, and if you've heard me speak before, you've heard me say this numerous times, please drop the whole notion that we have to manage our stress. We don't need another thing to manage. Okay, what we do need to do is to build our accommodation strategies and our resilience around it. Because again, it's always going to be around. Different stressors are going to come at us at different angles. Okay, we started doing this by recognizing our behavior patterns and our belief systems behind what rest means and how we deal with stress. Okay. And hopefully you guys did that homework from day 1 because that is key. And I know for a lot of you it was a big aha. It was for me 100% when I went through this exercise years ago. And it evolves and changes, and you'll have these little moments that are, like Jackie said, like we always strive, or like not always strive, but we're always like, oh, we don't want to be like our mothers, right? Some of us. But you have these sort of little triggers that happen. You're like, oh my gosh, like I'm totally mimicking what she's doing. Okay, good and bad. But learn behavior. And then we need to recognize when we have a stress response. Okay, when we're having that feeling of the shoulders creeping up, when we're having that spinning mind that won't shut off, when we're feeling like we're just keeping our head above water. Okay, specifically the minor disturbances, right? Nab yourself in those moments. What that means is that you learn to be like, okay, wait, why am I freaking out? Okay, wait, I'm sitting down. Why can't I shut off my brain? Okay, I'm supposed to be going to sleep, or I've woken up in 2 o'clock in the morning. Why am I thinking about all these things? Nab yourself in those moments, and then we nab the trigger, and then we try to reframe it. Okay, reframe it into something else that we talk about here in a second. Okay, but things to think about when you nab yourself is what is this reminding me of to be causing this? Okay, what has it triggered in me? You know what it is for me a lot of the time? It's fatigue. I'm tired. Feeling like I'm having a mom tantrum because I just don't have the resiliency from that day to deal with just minor things. The husband chewing the apple too loud, right? Like it's ridiculous to get angry at that, but literally was like a nails on a chalkboard for me. Okay, so nabbing yourself in those moments and saying, okay, what is causing this? Okay, well, that's ridiculous that I'm getting mad at this. I must be tired. I need to just maybe be alone for 10 minutes and rest my eyes, or I need just to go outside and breathe. Okay, again, strategies that tactics we're going to be talking about here in a second. Okay, but when you learn to sort of nab yourself in those moments and then learn to reframe them, it puts more ease in the situation. The situation doesn't start to feel as frantic. Okay, makes sense? Okay, give me a thumbs up. The key to this as well, when we start recognizing triggers that happen repeatedly, okay, maybe it's a colleague that's always late for the whatever weekly meeting, okay, just as an example. When we find triggers, then we need to literally sit and visualize ourselves dealing with them. Okay, I'm not diving into the whole neural realignment and what we do in the 3M, because we do this, we work all 4 months, 4 weeks or 4 months on this, because we have to train our brain not to go to what it perceives as comfort, but also what it starts to recognize it as normal. So don't just visualize the outcome, you relaxing on a beach somewhere. Okay, let me word this clearly better. Don't just visualize the end result and the outcome. You relaxed and chill. Visualize yourself putting in the work. Okay, the hard stuff. You having a tantrum and nabbing yourself in the moment and refraining it and going in and chilling out and doing something, okay, to help bring that cortisol down. Okay, visualize yourself doing that. Visualize how you would like to respond in the future, because telling yourself that you're going to respond this way when that trigger happens again is very fleeting. Okay, because your brain doesn't know any different. So we have to train. Makes sense. I didn't word that very eloquently, but let me know if that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, don't just visualize the end result. Visualize you dealing with it, the hard stuff. Okay. When we're building up stress accommodation and resilience, I also want you to look at passive versus active self-care. Okay. And when I say passive and active, I don't mean in efficiency, I mean more in vibe. So passive self-care is your journaling, your gratitude, your meditation, okay, your foam rolling yoga flow maybe. Okay, that's more passive. It's in vibe. Great to help bring you down and regulate you, but they are practices, meaning we have to do them consistently to be effective. Okay? You can't just zen out for 10 minutes and then everything is chill and you're in the parasympathetic nervous state for that 10 minutes. It doesn't work like that way. Your brain, it's too smart. It's just like, oh, what's she doing? Okay, but if we have it as a practice and that we be consistent with it, yes. Okay, it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes to journal. Not everybody likes to meditate. Not everybody loves yoga. Not everybody loves breathing. Okay, so we have to find something that resonates with you in that season of life. Okay, in that season of life. I've had clients that say, I love meditation during the summer, but for some reason in the winter, it's not for me. But I like to do this in the winter. Okay, just an example. So that's passive, but then there's also active self-care that's not talked about a lot unless you're in the 3M system. And active self-care is actually changing your physical state to a state of stress where you have to talk yourself and breathe yourself through it. For example, hot and cold therapy. Everyone's probably seen on Instagram or whatever, the cold plunge. Okay, cold shower. Okay, this is me. I love it. I love it. I hate it when I'm about to do it, but afterwards I love it. Okay, because I have to breathe. It's building resiliency. My body's under a state of stress and I have to breathe myself because my brain is screaming, get out of the cold shower. You're crazy. What are you doing? Okay. Another example is during your workouts, doing a set or a rep that's a heavier rate, one more. Your muscles are screaming, but your form isn't compromised and you're pushing yourself, breathing through that rep. It's like that trainer saying, no, give me 2 more push-ups. And your brain's saying, no, stop, stop, stop. And you're like, no, I can do it. Breathe. That's building up resiliency. Okay? Resiliency. So passive versus active self-care. The last area when we're building stress accommodation and resilience for you to look at is definitely nutrition. Okay, definitely nutrition. Your meal timing, like I talked about yesterday, certain foods to boost or lower your cortisol levels, like I talked about yesterday, but also please write down these three: breakfast, protein, and water. Breakfast, protein, and water. Start your day off right. Okay. Nutrition pairing your breakfast will not only help you set the stage for the rest of the day, but it also help provide sustained energy. Okay. Yes, all day. And when times are busy and we're feeling the shoulders rise and tense and we're in a rush and we grab and go, a lot of us miss breakfast altogether thanks to the fasting phase. And I know a couple of you in here are fasting. I'm not here to discredit any methodology, but fasting is not a diet. And it is not about dropping breakfast. It is not about waking up and not consuming for 3 hours. And if you are not waking up hungry for any certified accredited nutritionist, that is a red flag that your metabolism is off. Okay, so something just to think about. Fasting is great for hormones, great for digestion, so many benefits to help you regulate. When you do it and how you get out of it are key. Okay, and something that if it's a fit for clients that we walk clients through. Okay, so starting your day, this is not the time to be skipping breakfast when you're stressed out either. Okay, so making sure that you're consuming, please, within about 30 minutes, an hour of waking up. I like 30 minutes. Protein in your meals not only is messengers and flame, like it's gasoline to your metabolic flame. I'm having trouble speaking today, apparently. It's gasoline to your metabolic flame. It takes longer to break down. It triggers different responses with our system. It's got great thermogenic effect, all these benefits. Plant or animal, does not matter. Just make sure you are getting enough protein in your diet. Key when we're in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. Okay. Water, okay, often forgotten as caffeine becomes a drink of choice. But when energy is low, stress is high, you must increase your water intake. You must increase your water. All our systems rely on it. Okay. So protein, breakfast, protein, and water. Okay. Couple that with your meal timing and your certain foods, saying, okay, I think Jackie said, boost up my leafy greens. Okay. For example, for some of you, maybe it's getting more vitamin C, whatever it may be. Pick something, keep it simple. And this is a great start. This is a great foundation to start with. And then if we talk, okay, we can talk about getting specifics and timing and nutrition pairing for you. Number 2 in our 5 strategies is stress release routines. Okay. And these are habits and rituals that you have throughout your day that jive with you. Okay. I'm going to share a couple of mine. But these will help, again, during your day to get your cortisol back regulated and managed. Okay. The key is here, especially for you busy bees. Okay. I'm going to give you a key strategy here in a second. Okay. I was going to talk about it now, but I'm going to wait. So we have these in our day. They become something that is a part of us. There are non-negotiables. All right. Mine start definitely with morning routine, morning and evening routine. Norma, you and I just talked about this yesterday. Okay. I don't care if it's 2 minutes while you just lie in bed before you get up, but setting your intention for the day, not grabbing the phone and flipping through emails and getting into a reactive mode. Okay. But rather being in a proactive mode is key, especially in a state where cortisol is naturally high, the morning. Excuse me. I'm doing coughing, choking, sneezing, doing all the things, stumbling over my words, all the things today on Wednesday. I didn't sleep great last night. I think this is the repercussions of it. So morning routine and coupled with that evening routine. Okay, we all know what good sleep hygiene is, but giving yourself that adequate time to decompress, reflect on the day, give gratitude, okay, is big. But morning routine, setting your intention for the day, not just jumping out of bed and running. Okay, grabbing that coffee and going. Okay, set your intention. Set your intention. Another big part of your morning routine, and this isn't actually talked about a lot and is key, especially when you're in northern climates, is getting your face into the sun. And I don't mean tanning, but I mean just daylight. When you wake up, getting daylight on your face, or grabbing one of these, Costco has them, the little blue light lenses, right? Lights, and you sit in front of it for 10 minutes. What this is doing is resetting your algorithm. Okay, it's resetting your natural algorithm, especially if you do not sleep well and you have spinning mind. Getting that daylight on your face for 5-10 minutes in the morning is huge. Okay, belly breathing or box breathing. Okay, a great stress release routine. Okay, because what the breathing is doing is actually sending signals back to your hypothalamus. Remember this, running the show, and saying, she's pretty chill. Oh, things are good. Heart rate's lowered, breathing's lowered. I think we're okay. This biofeeds back to the adrenals. All right, you can chill out with the cortisol for now. Okay, it's a good biofeedback. You don't need to do it for long. You can just do the 10 big belly breaths, like yoga breaths, or you can do 10 box breaths. Okay, I think I have a breathing guide. If you guys want it, let me know. 3 Mers, it should be under your bonus section with all the guides. It says guides, guides, guides. It should be in there. Okay, so let me know. I can send it to you. I love the breathing because you can do it anywhere at any time. So in the first part of our strategy, we talked about recognizing a trigger, right? Nabbing that trigger and then reframing it. A good reframe would be breath, breathing, breath work. Okay. So full disclosure. Yes, please. Okay, Karen, no problem. Just remind me later. Or here, I'll put it in a note. I do it in the bathroom because when we're busy, as a little tip, is when we, not to have reminders on our phone all the time, just breathe, but try to pair them with an activity like you already do. So for some, it could be, giving gratitude while they brush their teeth. Okay. For others, for me, it's whenever I go to the bathroom, 10 big belly breaths, box breathing. Okay. It's perfect for me because I still have young kids that are following me around and rattling on the door. Okay. So Karen, I'll post, I'll just post it. Breathing guide. I'll post it in our group so then everyone can just grab it. Okay. My next one, and my next 2, I'll say them together, is walking in nature. Okay. Walking, I don't mean a power walk. I mean just getting out and moving your body. Science has shown numerous times when we just get outside, right away, a hormone called serotonin increases. Serotonin is different from your other feel-good hormones. Serotonin is like, it's your joy, it's your elation. Okay, it's the warm and fuzzy feeling. Okay, it's different from dopamine. Dopamine is your perception of good things about to happen. Serotonin is that feeling. It's like goosebumps. It's the smells, right? So getting outside right away naturally increases your serotonin. When serotonin is high, guess where cortisol is? Low. So getting outside, that's why I wish this whole 10,000 steps, it should have been 10,000 steps. It should have been like, get outside, ground yourself, and then do 10,000 by doing 10,000 steps. Like everyone thought the 10,000 steps was to burn the calories. The other benefits are far greater. Okay. And just grounding yourself and being outside in nature. Again, it doesn't need to be an hour walk. It could be 5 minutes. It could be, even if it's -30 outside, sticking your head outside, getting the sun daylight on your face and doing a couple big breaths. Okay. Try to think about where in your day you can have this grounding movement. After dinner, get someone else to clean up. Okay. Create that boundary, right? Go with yourself or go with a friend or a spouse. There's no complaining. There's no negative talk. Just quiet. Right? And just walk. Okay, walking. Great, great strategy to have. Move your body, get outside. Get outside. The last one I will say, and it's again, I just mentioned it with our first one when we were talking about building up that resilience, is really sitting in that vision for yourself. This isn't just all woo-woo stuff. There's science behind this. We need the neurological pathways to be formed for these stress responses to become normalized. Okay, we can't just willpower our way through it and just say, okay, but I'm just going to box breathe and everything's going to be okay. No, we need those thought patterns to be developed. We need the brain to recognize this as a strategy, or else it's going to go to what it knew before. Netflix, Doritos, the wine late at night, sleeping in bed all day, wrapped in blankets, whatever it found comfort, or you find comfort in. It'll fight for it. So we need to visualize us doing these techniques and these strategies so it becomes familiar to us. Have to develop those neurological pathways. Okay? Very key. Makes sense, guys? Give me a thumbs up. So I want you to think about, okay, what your stress, what you can do in your day. Okay? What you can do in your day. Morning routine, evening routine, face the sun, belly breathing, walk. Okay, nature, sit in that vision for yourself. And where can you couple it with something that you already do so it doesn't feel like an added to do? Okay, and it just starts becoming second nature. All right. Another one, and this is a big one, and I think a lot of women love to do this secretly, but they don't put it into, like, a stress of grounding, right? Helping my stress response. And that's projects. Stay with me. You're like, work projects? No. So a Dr. Mattis, I believe his name is Mattis, but from the University of Minnesota, explained in a recent study that the brain basically deals with things in two ways. It looks at the future, okay, what you perceive is gonna happen, okay, and it also looks at the here and now, what you're seeing, what you're smelling, what you're feeling, touching, okay. So we need, as busy women, go-getter women, to be more here and now. Norma, you and I just talked about this yesterday in our one-to-one call. Okay, we need to be more present. And one way to do that is with a mini project. Okay, paint the room, change the light bulbs to LED. Okay, for me, it's furniture. I love grabbing garbage finds and flipping them. Okay. My husband's like, what is all this in the garbage falling apart? But I fix it up and I paint it and stain it and do whatever I want. Do it. I love it. My kids ask to help. I say no. This is my time. Okay. So something, some kind of project, but anything that is going to bring you present. Okay. And this is another strategy, that the morning routine, the face in the sun, okay, the walks through the day, is bringing you back to the present. Because who here thinks 5 steps ahead all day long? Right? It was me. Until I brought in these moments in my day where I'm like, what do I feel? How does my coffee smell? I'm a tea drinker, but how does it smell? What does it taste like? I'm not spinning in my mind thinking about, okay, I'm going to check my emails first, and then I'm going to finish that project, and then I'm going to edit this video, and then, see the difference? Yeah. Okay, being present. So again, I want you to think about and reflect on where in your day can you bring more now in? Yes, no. Okay, more now, and couple it with something, your morning routine. For some, I had a girlfriend that it was in the car, driving to work, right? Driving to work. She's like, you have to pay attention to driving, but also, she would be around, like, what's around her? Look at the sky, look at the buildings, listen to some music, sing along, right? Sing out loud, be present in the now. That's a big one. Okay, because then we blink and 10 years have gone by. Okay, so a project is like a good little mini project that doesn't feel overwhelming in work and, oh my gosh, I gotta get this done, is a great way to start with that. So something to think about. Okay, so the third one in our five strategies is adaptogens. So if there was ever a magic pill, which, you know me, I'm not big on the supplementation. I believe in supplementation. Driving's a stress release for me, Karen. There you go. Huge aha, right? Just be present, look around, what's going on, right? Adaptogens, back to adaptogens. If there was ever a magic pill, adaptogens would be it. Okay. Again, I believe in supplementation. I believe healing with nutrition first, and then adding in supplementation to support it. It does not negate a bad diet or bad habits, right? But adaptogens are substances, if you will, that will help your body adapt to stress, right? They help decrease your sensitivity to certain stressors. So, therefore, in theory, it is easier for you to come back down to regulated calm state, because that's the goal. Get overstimulated because life is life, but then come back down. Okay? Or stay in calm, recognize that trigger, deal with it, and then move on. Okay? It's not about, again, getting into this whole loop of overstimulated, getting into the fatigue, bottom out, getting into collapse, and then we have to really heal to come out. Okay? Makes sense? So it's very with adaptogens. However, before you all run out and think you have to get ashwagandha, please listen. It's very essential to evaluate where you are at in your stress response cycle, because each adaptogen will have specific properties to help. So, for example, some lower cortisol, which would be a detriment for those of you in collapse and burnout, and some help raise cortisol. Okay, so if you're in a state of exhaustion or depletion and collapse, those are the ones that we would look at to adding in to help heal you, to bring you metabolically up again. So again, adaptogens, it's a conversation to be had with myself or another healthcare practitioner. Okay. Number 4 seems pretty simple, but it's big, and a lot of us haven't really sat down and given it the honest look that it needs, and that is removing any stress triggers that are within your control. Okay. Often the stress we experience in our day, the perceived stress, is not within your control, right? And that's why it's important that we change our perception of it. We worry a lot about what's going to happen, rather than bringing it into, okay, why am I worrying about that right now? Why am I worrying about stuff that I don't know to be true yet? And bringing yourself back to the present. Okay. So what can you control is your movement, not too much, but not too little. Okay. Again, exercise and movement is like your ashwagandhas. It's got in your nutrition. It has to match you where you are at in your stress response cycle. Okay. You can also look at environmental stressors like toxic overload, molds, chemicals, things like that. Remember, everything that we put in and on our bodies has to be processed through our liver. Okay. You look at the food you eat and start removing the processed food, inflammatory food, seed oils, anything that will spike inflammation for you. Okay. And start looking at that way, maybe decreasing the caffeine, limiting the alcohol, things like that. Okay. Another area that I would love for you to look at when we're looking at stress triggers, and a different way to view it is this. It's from actually Stephen R. Covey. I don't know if you, Jackie, you may have heard of his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Okay, it's a great book. It's a little bit busy for me, but there's definitely some tidbits in there. But he talked about the circle of concern versus your circle of influence. And in your circle of concern, he says that it's basically all the things that you're concerned about, either present or about to happen, or you think is about to happen. And it can be personal things like your family's health, your job, or even big picture issues like the economy, is the virus coming back, okay, climate change, whatever. Okay, it's your circle of concern. Worth a write down, a writer downer. Okay, just brain dump everything out, what you're concerned about. But at the same time, you also have your circle of influence, which is sort of inside. If you have your circle of concern, your circle of influence is inside. And this contains things that you can actually do something about. Okay, like your habits, the way you treat others, the way you treat yourself, your actions. Okay, so focusing on actions within your circle of influence lets you be more proactive. Okay, which help you feel more positive and in control. Because a lot of us we're so busy again because, and you know, for our overstimulated, we use it for validation, a badge of honor, worthiness, right? Control. So, but if you concentrate on the items solely in your circle of concern that are outside of your influence, it leaves you in the constant state of reaction. Okay, reaction. Freaking out about who the CEO is going to hire as your new boss, and you're hoping it's not going to be this person, and freaking out. You don't know it to be true yet. So why are we freaking out? It's out of your control. But let's look at our circle of influence and what we can control. Makes sense? Okay? Because when it just focusing on your healthy routines and belief system and habits, so important because it puts you in the driver's seat. It's proactive. Okay? Even if the new week is uncertain ahead, right? But us just thinking about our routine and what's going on. And I can't remember who I spoke about. I think Tanya said, like, I'm so busy, and you know, weekends are different from during the week. And I'm like, just think 3 days ahead. Kids and activities in the evenings, think 3 days ahead. That's it. And write it down. Okay, you're being proactive. Your brain loves routine, loves it. Okay. The fifth and final strategy, and my favorite, to be honest with you, to help, again, bring you back, to help love on your nervous system and your stress response and bring you back to that state of calm, is play. Okay, play. And it comes down to me asking you the question, what do you like to do for fun? What do you like to do that makes you happy? Okay, Karen shared it was singing, it was driving. Okay, for some, it could be singing in the car out loud. No one's listening, just you. Okay, for me, it's getting in the sand in the summer and playing beach volleyball with my girlfriends. Love it. And Brene Brown, I believe, said the perfect definition of play is a period of time where you lose track of time. Right? Time just goes by effortlessly because you're having so much fun. And as busy go-getter women, active women in our 40s, 50s, 60s, plus, a lot of us don't know what that means for us because we've been so busy over the years, if not decades, helping everyone else. Helping everyone else. Okay, and you being here is huge because now you're doing something for you. But thinking about fun, not just the 2 weeks a year when you go on vacation. Okay. And I get it. Maybe this isn't a strategy that you can do every day, but You can maybe go for a walk. You can do the box breathing. You can do the 10-minute rest my eyes. You can do other strategies again during your day that are going to bring you back to state of calm. You can work on being present. That's a huge one. I want everyone to have that as your number one, to bring more presence into your day. Okay? But then also look at the joy and the fun. It's really hard to be stressed the F out, excuse my French, I am Canadian, when you're having fun and happy. Even for that little period of time, you forget about it. Because again, time just goes by. If you don't know right now, it's okay. So many women, triggers something very emotional in them. It's 100% normal because you just lost sight of that self. You knew what used to be fun for you. I used to love to run. I used to love to read. I used to love to garden. I used to love to do these things. And then it's just fallen off. Okay? It's just fallen off. So we want to bring that back. Okay? We want to bring that back in your holistic health strategy. Okay? Stop fixating and obsessing so much energy. Imagine if you saved all that energy on what am I eating? How am I working out? Looking at yourself in the mirror, the negative self-talk, all that energy that we spend doing that in our day-to-day, and put that towards strategies like what makes us happy, makes us more self-connected. That boosts proactive. That proactiveness boosts self-esteem. So that you can still say, hey, listen, I'm a rock star, but I do want to lean up and get stronger. But this is cool where I am, but I would love to, as a goal, lean up and get stronger. See, the perception is different rather than I got to lose the weight. I don't like the way I look. Nothing fits. I hate vacation in summer, right? Totally different approach. And it can happen. I've had thousands of clients say it happened if you take a holistic approach to it. Makes sense, guys? Give me a thumbs up before I recap our 5 really quickly here. Okay, so the 5 strategies, yes, perfect. 5 strategies to help you regulate your stress response back down. Okay, number 1 was building up your stress accommodation and resilience. Okay, number 2 was stress release routines, things that help you come. And I know a question for some, they're like, well, I work out. That's my stress. Can that be stress release? But some say working out is an added stress. It is. Working out is a stressor because you're asking your body to tear apart and build into longer, leaner, more endurance, whatever it may be. However, if you are present in your workouts and using it as an active form of self-care, you're not reading a book on the stationary bike, that big pet peeve of mine, okay, or watching TV. You're thinking about your breath. You're thinking about your muscles moving. You're reconnecting with yourself. Yes. Working out is a stress release. Okay. If we're not going overboard, again, it depends where you are at in your stress response cycle. So building up your stress accommodation and resilience. Number 2 is your stress release routines. Okay. Being more present, okay, in your day. Number 3 was adaptogens. Number 4, we talked about removing the triggers that are within your control, remembering your circle of concern, but really now focusing on your circle of influence. Control what you can control. And number 5 is adapting more play into your life, more joy, focusing on what makes you happy. I say this as a challenge. The amount of energy we focus again on the nutrition and the workouts and booking those into our day and our week, we should be focusing on what makes us happy and doing that. Okay, but there's a guilt behind that because we're like, well, we're not sweating our butts off. We're not, prepping all 5 lunches for the week. This is way more effective because remember, insulin and cortisol are your players. They control everything, okay, on whether you will release fat for energy or store it. Okay, signs of an efficient metabolism. So and that is it for today. Okay, so the homework really is for you to go through your notes, bring your highlighter, and just highlight 2 things. that you want to focus on. You can share with me. Okay, you can share with me if you want. Maybe it is being more present through your day. Maybe it is getting outside with nature. Maybe it is developing a morning routine. Maybe it is thinking about your circle of concerns versus your circle of influence. Okay, but just pick two things, put it in the chat below. And then remember, tomorrow I'm going to be going live, same time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. Answer some Q&A, do some Q&A, I should say. And then do a quick recap of the last 3 days. And then actions for moving forward. For some of you, it may be a fit. I'm going to be talking about the 3M Accelerator, where we can take basic principles that you've learned the last 3 days and keep expanding on them, put the pieces together and a strategy together personalized to you. Okay, and have that offer available for those that are willing to do it. And for those guys that are in the 3M or 3M Accelerator, you guys can pipe in and say what you love about it as well. Okay, because a lot of you guys are in here doing the last 3 days with us. All right, I've had a blast. We've talked about a lot. It's like that little brain emoji going on. Keep it simple. Close the book on your notes right now and then come back. All right. Any questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I will make sure to get that breathing guide out in our group. All right. Bye, guys.